In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on December 7, 2024, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Georgia versus Texas. It's championship weekend in college football, and it brings us an exciting matchup in the Southeastern Conference title game between 2 teams with differing backgrounds. On one side, we have a conference powerhouse, while on the other, a newcomer striving for prominence. These 2 teams, both fighting for critical positioning in the college football playoff field, will clash in the highly anticipated game in Atlanta. The number 5 Georgia Bulldogs will take on the number 2 Texas Longhorns in the Southeastern Conference championship game, set to kick off Saturday night. Georgia enters this game having narrowly escaped a thrilling rivalry battle with Georgia Tech, securing a 44-42 victory in 8 overtimes at home this past Friday night. Despite the win, they failed to cover the 17-point spread in that contest. Meanwhile, Texas triumphed 17-7 on the road against number 20 Texas Agricultural and Mechanical last Saturday, covering the 4.5-point spread. Historically, the all-time series between these 2 programs leans in Texas's favor, with the Longhorns holding a 4-2 advantage. However, it was the Bulldogs who emerged victorious in their first meeting this season, securing a 30-15 win on the road in Austin on October 19. This will be the second meeting between Texas and Georgia this season, and with so much on the line, the stakes are higher than ever. The winner will not only claim the Southeastern Conference Championship, but will also earn a crucial first-round bye in the college football playoff. In their first matchup, back in October, the game was largely dictated by strong defensive performances. Neither offense was able to gain more than 300 total yards, and the 2 teams combined for 7 turnovers. Georgia, despite scoring 30 points, benefited from advantageous field positions early in the game due to turnovers by Texas. 4 of Georgia's 5 first-half scoring drives started in Longhorns territory, largely because of these turnovers. The question remains whether the Bulldogs can replicate this kind of success in the Southeastern Conference Championship. Since their first meeting, Georgia's defense has shown significant decline in efficiency. They now rank 88th nationally in opposing predicted points added per play since Week 9, while Texas ranks 2nd in that category. Additionally, Georgia has been more vulnerable in terms of finishing drives, allowing over 4 points per opponent scoring opportunity since October, whereas Texas has allowed fewer than 2.7. Furthermore, Georgia's ability to create havoc on defense has diminished, as they now rank 109th in total havoc and 80th in front 7 havoc. In contrast, Texas boasts a much stronger defense, ranking 5th and 12th in those metrics respectively. In this highly anticipated rematch, ball security and time of possession will be critical factors. I believe that Texas holds the upper hand in both of these areas, particularly with some key developments on their roster. One significant blow for Georgia is the uncertainty surrounding their best offensive weapon in the first meeting, running back Trevor Etienne. Etienne, who rushed for over 100 yards and scored 3 touchdowns in that October game, is listed as doubtful to play in the Southeastern Conference Championship, which would severely hinder Georgia's offensive capabilities. This places even more pressure on quarterback Carson Beck, who has been prone to turnovers. While Roderick Robinson made his return to action last week, he only had 4 carries, and there are doubts about Branson Robinson's effectiveness if he is cleared to play after an injury. On the other hand, Texas has discovered a promising duo in their ground game with running backs Quintrevion Wisner and Jadon Blue, both of whom have been performing at a high level since Texas's loss to Georgia earlier in the season. When these 2 teams met in October, Georgia pulled off a 15-point road win as +4 underdogs, securing a 30-15 victory. Despite the loss, Texas had a strong defensive performance overall, limiting Georgia to just 283 yards of offense and 14 first downs. The Longhorns were down 26-0 at halftime, but came out strong in the second half, holding Georgia to just a field goal. However, Texas's 4 turnovers played a huge role in their defeat, and we can be fairly certain that this won't be repeated. This time around, we can expect a much more prepared Texas defense, having analyzed the film of their previous loss loss extensively. Since the loss, Georgia has struggled to get off to strong starts, with quarterback Carson Beck particularly facing difficulties in the first halves of games. If Georgia falls behind early again, they could be in significant trouble. The Texas defense has proven to be formidable, and the first meeting in October was an outlier for them. In terms of betting, Georgia has been 3-9 against the spread this season, while Texas has posted a more solid 7-5 against the spread record. After their first meeting in October, where Georgia emerged victorious, the Bulldogs have been less than convincing. They are 4-1 since that win, but their performances have been lackluster at times, especially in narrow victories over Georgia Tech, Florida, and Tennessee. In contrast, Texas has won all 5 of their games since the loss to Georgia, with 4 of those wins coming by double digits. Their only close game in that stretch was a 3-point win over Vanderbilt on the road. Even though this game will be played in Atlanta, Texas will treat it like a road game, and they've proven to be a solid defensive team throughout the season. Given the recent trends, I'm inclined to favor Texas in this rematch. Not only have they been performing better on defense in recent weeks, but their ground game has also been more consistent. This gives the Longhorns a significant advantage, so the Texas Longhorns to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. When it comes to the total for this game, Georgia has been somewhat unpredictable. The Bulldogs have gone 6-6 relative to the total this season, but they've tended to stay under in 3 of their 4 games away from Athens, with the lone exception being a loss to Alabama. Texas has fared similarly, with a 7-4-1 under record for the season. The Longhorns have posted a 3-0-1 under record in their 4 away games. In the first matchup this season, the teams combined for 45 total points, well under the projected 57-point total. While both teams are capable of explosive offenses, this game could turn into a defensive battle, with each team fighting for every inch. The Texas defense, in particular, showed their ability to stifle Georgia in the second half of their previous meeting, and since that loss, the Longhorns have allowed just 14 points per game over their last 5 contests. Similarly, Georgia's defense, despite a rough outing against Georgia Tech, had been solid prior to that, allowing only 20 points per game in the 5 games leading up to the rivalry between the two teams. The under has been profitable this season with a 13-10-1 record. Despite some recent adjustments, the total still seems too high. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Clemson versus SMU. On Saturday, December 7th, SMU and Clemson will face off in the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship game, a highly anticipated matchup that will take place at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. This title game marks a significant moment for both teams as they battle for supremacy in the conference. SMU has enjoyed an impressive season, boasting a record of 11-1 overall and a perfect 8-0 in Atlantic Coast Conference play. They earned their spot in the championship game with a dominant performance throughout the season. On the other hand, Clemson secured their place in the final following a pivotal loss by Miami to Syracuse last week. The Tigers enter the game with a 9-3 record, including a 7-1 mark in Atlantic Coast Conference play. Interestingly, these two teams did not meet during the regular season, which only adds to the intrigue surrounding this matchup. SMU has proven to be a strong contender, particularly in situations where they are favored by a small margin. The Mustangs are a perfect 2-0 against the spread when they have been single-digit favorites this season. Their offense has been nothing short of electric, with quarterback Kevin Jennings playing a starring role. Jennings has led the charge, orchestrating a potent attack that has kept defenses on their toes. However, it's running back Brashard Smith who has truly shined in the ground game. Smith has demonstrated a remarkable ability to break tackles while also contributing as a receiving threat. In contrast, Clemson's offense has struggled to keep pace with high-scoring teams, particularly against defenses that can shut down their offensive playmakers. SMU's defense, one of the best in the nation, has been a key factor in their success. They are allowing just 20 points per game, ranking 19th in the country, and their rush defense is particularly formidable, ranked 4th in the nation. This will undoubtedly be a tough challenge for Clemson, whose offense has yet to prove it can consistently compete against elite defensive units. The Clemson Tigers, despite their strong overall record, have not faced many ranked opponents this season, and they have posted a 1-1 record in those games. Over the last 5 games, Clemson has struggled, losing 2 of them, including one to a lower-tier team, the Citadel, which does not compete in the Football Bowl subdivision. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, SMU has been dominant throughout the season, winning all 8 of their Atlantic Coast Conference games and displaying a level of consistency and excellence that has made them a formidable force. This is their first year in the conference, and they have quickly established themselves as one of the top teams in the league. One of the key components to SMU's success has been the stellar play of quarterback Kevin Jennings. Over his last 5 games, Jennings has averaged 280 passing yards per game, including a standout performance where he threw for 306 yards against a ranked Pittsburgh team. SMU's offense, while capable of airing the ball out, is primarily run-heavy, with the Mustangs opting for a run on 54% of their plays. This strategy plays directly into their strength, especially considering Clemson's struggles in stopping the run. The Tigers' rush defense has been porous, allowing an average of 150 rushing yards per game, ranking them 71st in the nation. SMU's defense, while susceptible to giving up passing yards, is stout against the run, ranking 4th in the nation in rush defense. This will undoubtedly limit Clemson's offensive options, leaving them with fewer avenues to attack. Overall, SMU has proven to be the superior team this season, and their defense is poised to stifle Clemson's offensive efforts. Clemson has had some fortunate breaks to even make it to this championship game, and after the final whistle blows, they may regret their appearance. SMU enters this game as the superior team, and their defense is primed for a dominant performance. Clemson's quarterback, Cade Klubnik, is likely to face significant difficulties in moving the ball through the air, especially against a defense as formidable as SMU's. Meanwhile, Kevin Jennings is expected to continue his strong play and guide the Mustangs to an impressive victory. The game is expected to get out of hand early, with SMU controlling both sides of the ball. Given the significant disparity between the two teams, the SMU Mustangs to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. When examining both teams on paper, it's clear that they both feature high-powered offenses. Clemson ranks 14th in the nation in offensive efficiency, while SMU is ranked 6th, showcasing their ability to put up points in bunches. However, when it comes to defense, both teams are somewhat average. Clemson ranks 57th in defensive efficiency, while SMU ranks 39th. This makes them relatively even in terms of defensive performance, but it's worth noting that SMU's defense, while not dominant, is still significantly better than Clemson's. The Mustangs' defense has shown vulnerabilities, such as allowing 42 points to TCU and 28 points to Boston College, but they have also displayed the ability to lock down opposing offenses when needed. Clemson, with its fast-paced offense, ranks 10th in plays per game, which could result in some success for Cade Klubnik in the passing game, particularly against SMU's pass defense, which is ranked 85th. On the offensive side, SMU has been explosive, scoring 33 or more points in 10 of their 12 games this season. Their ability to rack up points has been highlighted by impressive performances, including 66 points against TCU, 40 points against Stanford, 48 points against Pittsburgh, and 38 points against Boston College. A key factor in their offensive success has been Brashard Smith, the running back who has surpassed 100 yards in 6 games this season. As previously mentioned, Clemson's rush defense has been vulnerable, and SMU will likely look to exploit that weakness. In their most recent loss, Clemson allowed 267 rushing yards, which is a concerning statistic heading into this game. Both teams average over 36 points per game, with Clemson at 36.3 and SMU at 39.9, underscoring the potential for a high-scoring game. However, neither team's defense has been particularly strong, and with the game being played on turf in Charlotte, the stage is set for an offensive showdown. SMU has hit the over in 6 of their 10 games this season, and given the high-powered offenses of both teams, it's reasonable to expect a significant amount of scoring in this game. With both teams capable of putting up points in rapid succession, fans can expect an exciting and fast-paced contest, with plenty of offensive fireworks on display. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Penn State versus Oregon. This week marks championship week, and the Big Ten is serving up an exciting matchup between the number 3 Penn State Nittany Lions and the number 1 Oregon Ducks, who will face off in Indianapolis this Saturday. Penn State enters the game with an impressive 11-1 record, including an 8-1 mark within the Big Ten Conference. They were helped last week by Michigan's victory over Ohio State, which earned them a spot in the title game. On the other hand, Oregon stands as the only undefeated team in college football this season. boasting a perfect 12-0 record with a flawless 9-0 conference performance. To add further intrigue to this matchup, these two teams did not meet during the regular season, and it has been nearly 3 decades since they last faced each other, back in 1995. Additionally, Oregon is competing in their inaugural Big Ten season, making this game all the more significant for both teams. I've been closely following both teams throughout Big Ten play, and it's clear that each side brings certain advantages to the table when it comes to matchups. Much has been discussed about James Franklin's struggles against top-tier competition during his tenure at Penn State, and once again, we saw the Nittany Lions falter when they faced Ohio State as short underdogs earlier this season. Penn State has not won a game outright as an underdog since September 2021, when they defeated Wisconsin. Since then, they've lost 9 consecutive games in this situation. Under Franklin, Penn State has a dismal 1-16 record against top 5 opponents, with just a 5-12 record against the spread. While this Penn State team is certainly the strongest they've had in years, they are facing their toughest opponent yet in a high-pressure championship setting, which only adds to the challenge. Oregon, meanwhile, has an explosive offensive attack that has been a standout all season long. They currently rank 13th in the nation in passing yards per game with 277.6, and they also feature a 1,100-yard rusher. Penn State's defense, though strong, has been inconsistent at times throughout the season. The Nittany Lions allowed 25 points to Minnesota and 27 to Bowling Green, both of whom have far less potent offenses than Oregon. The Ducks have scored 35 or more points in 5 of their last 6 games, and given the nature of this championship game, it's unlikely they will be slowed down easily. Moreover, since the game will be played indoors on turf, the typical cold, snowy conditions of Big Ten football will not come into play, which should favor Oregon's speed, particularly on the perimeter. Oregon used their bye week to recover and get healthy after 8 straight Big Ten games, and their 49-point performance against Washington last week was a much-needed confidence booster. The Ducks' offense remains one of the best in the country, averaging over 7 yards per play in conference play and ranking within the top 5 in metrics like expected points added per rush, expected points added per pass, and overall success rate. Quarterback Dylan Gabriel has shown a knack for rising to the occasion in big moments, and his leadership has been key to Oregon's success. While Penn State's defense certainly presents a formidable challenge, Oregon's offensive coordinator, Will Stein, should have plenty of creative plays in mind, especially since he has kept the offensive game plan relatively simple over the last few weeks. A crucial factor in this game will be the strength of Oregon's offensive line, which is by far the best that Penn State's defense will have faced this season. The return of wide receiver Tez Johnson is also significant for Oregon, as his presence in the lineup has made a noticeable impact on their offensive efficiency. When Johnson played in the first 9 games, the Ducks averaged over 3 points per drive, but without him in the lineup against Maryland and Wisconsin, that number dropped to just 2 points per drive. As for Penn State, their offensive unit, led by Andy Kotelnicki, has been firing on all cylinders since their loss to Ohio State earlier in the month. They continue to rank in the top 10 nationally in several key offensive metrics, including success rate, expected points added per play, early downs expected points added, and 3rd/4th down success rate. However, Oregon's defense is excellent at stopping opponents on early downs, ranking in the top 5 in expected points added per dropback and passing success rate allowed. This will be a significant challenge for Penn State quarterback Drew Aller and their receiving core, which has struggled at times this season. Oregon also ranks 10th in net points per drive allowed, so it's likely that Penn State will find themselves stalling on a few key drives in the red zone. In addition, the Ducks' defense excels at generating pressure on the quarterback, ranking 5th in pressure rate. What's impressive is that they do this without needing to blitz frequently. Oregon's defense ranks 8th in pressure to blitz rate, allowing them to keep more players focused on stopping Penn State's dynamic tight end, Tyler Warren, while pass rushers like Matteo Uyagale, Derek Harmon, and Jordan Birch can get after the quarterback. With standout running backs Nick Singleton and Katron Allen in the backfield, Penn State should still be able to have some success on the ground, though Oregon's run defense, while solid, is not elite. If Oregon can continue to excel on pivotal 3rd downs, where they rank 10th in 3rd and 4th down success rate, I feel confident that their defense will ultimately rise to the occasion and secure a win in a high-stakes situation, just as they did in their October victory over Ohio State. Despite their impressive season, Oregon has shown moments where opponents have been able to hang around, leaving a door open for Penn State to capitalize. However, when it comes to big games, Penn State, under James Franklin, has struggled to consistently perform. Franklin's reputation for underperforming in key moments is well documented, and until he proves otherwise, I find it hard to back him in a game of this magnitude. Penn State has a dismal 0-9 straight-up record in its last 9 games as an underdog, and a similarly poor 2-7 mark against the spread. Given Franklin's history of failing to deliver in high-pressure situations, I'm not confident that he can lead the Nittany Lions to victory in this matchup. Penn State's tendency to get close but fall short in big games will likely continue, and I expect Oregon to come out on top and claim the Big Ten championship in their first year in the conference. With that in mind, the Oregon Ducks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. When it comes to the total for this game, both teams are likely to show up defensively on Championship Sunday night. Penn State has been strong against both the pass and the run, ranking 7th nationally in both categories. While they may not be able to shut down Oregon completely, they should be able to limit them to fewer than 5 touchdowns. Oregon, typically known for their explosive offense, has also made strides defensively this season, allowing just 16 points per game. There are several elite pass rushers in this game, including Penn State's Abdul Carter, who has 10 sacks, and Oregon's Mateo Uyagale, who has 10.5. With both defenses bringing pressure, quarterbacks will find themselves facing third and long situations that will lead to stalled drives and potentially force field goal attempts or punts. While Penn State has gone over the total in a couple of recent games, that was largely due to their high-scoring performances against Purdue and Maryland, and I don't expect them to replicate those kinds of numbers here. Oregon, on the other hand, has gone under in 4 of their last 6 games, and Penn State has seen a stretch of 6 unders in their last 7 games. Therefore, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.